Thanks for being here, everyone. Questions for our student athletes? We'll start with Justin and then Mike.
Hey Cameron, nice to meet you. So can you just summarize just the journey from when you got to Arizona till now? Because I think you kind of struggled a little bit in the spring, and then you picked things up. What do you think has led to you just kind of settling in?
Yeah, it's definitely been quite the journey, as Coach Miller has alluded to. I think just getting settled in, coming across the country, learning a new position, takes some time. So I think the reps over spring and then having some time off and then coming back to reflect on what happened, that's really it.
What was the most eye-opening part about just coming to play Power 4 football?
So going from receiver to tight end was probably the physicality of in the box. My old school, I was just really never asked to do that. And so coming here and going against Trey Smith every day, that's quite the task. So that was probably the biggest thing.
Michael and Troy.
For Deshawn, everyone's been talking about the run defense, of course, from the last two games. Issues with the QB power and some big running backs too. What have you guys been working on to try to solve that problem?
Really just getting back to ourselves. Really just looking back at just games, film, seeing what we're doing wrong, just trying to figure out ways to execute better, just paying attention a little bit more to just details, just little things like that.
Is there anything that you noticed when you look back in particular that we got to stop doing this or we have to start doing that?
Not necessarily. I just think just more so just execution, just doing our jobs, doing our 111, and just like I said again, just being ourselves, playing our brand of ball, which is red line. So just getting back to that.
Troy and David.
It's really easy to just say, hey, that they're struggling against the run and how it's going. But between the BYU game and Houston game, did you notice any differences between the two running styles that you guys faced? Was it very similar? Just your thoughts on the differences between the two games?
I mean, in a sense, yeah, it was kind of the same. They both fell back again on the QB power, just relying on that a lot. But other than that, I feel like they're good teams. But I mean, I just feel like a lot of it got to just do it within ourselves, and that's just, playing our ball again. So.
David and then Brian.
Cameron, you mentioned the physicality part of learning to play the tight end position, and Seth a couple weeks ago had said he wasn't sure early on in the spring if you were going to be able to grasp that. How did you get to the point where you were able to grasp that and now are an integral part in the running game?
Like I said, at first it was just different, and then really embracing it. Some of our other tight ends that do embrace it, Caden Luke and Tyler Mustang, I've had lots of talks with them, and you have to seek the contact rather than let it come to you. So a lot of talks with them, and then just built-in reps have helped with that.
When you look back at the seal block that sparked Kedrick in the last home game, what do you see when you look at how you were able to make that play there to spring that touchdown?
A lot of it, props to Coach Miller, because he's a real big stickler on our details. And then just when I look at that play, I see the details that he enforces every single day, and then just strain until the whistle.
Brian and Justin.
Deshawn, these last two games, I think you guys have only had one quarterback sack and really haven't been getting home as much. Colorado just gave up, I think, 7 or 8 sacks or something like that. How important is it not just to flush to the quarterback, but actually get to him as far as being able to throw things off?
It's very important. I feel like that's a huge part of just a lot of these calls, and that's being able to be effective. So I definitely feel like for us, this is definitely a challenge for us to take on, just more so just, again, that's relying on our technique, our fundamentals, and being able to just finish. So.
Justin and then Troy.
Cameron, can you tell us about Panama, New York, and what that town is like?
So Panama has more cows than it does people. There's I think the population is 450 people. My high school is a K through 12 school with my graduating class had 35 people in it.
Okay.
It's very small.
And how did you start playing football?
In 3rd grade. I always looked playing with my dad, playing football in the backyard and whatnot, and always wanted to. So in 3rd grade, that was the earliest I think we could start. And then as I kept playing, it was always this is what is going to get me to college.
Troy and then Michael.
Cam, over the last couple games, the tight end has been really involved, not only yourself, but Sam Olsen in the passing game as well. How do you think the evolution of the tight end in this offense has gone from the start of the season to now, and why do you think it's kind of opened up for you guys?
I don't think it's anything special. Just we're lucky enough to get the ball. It's always a privilege to get the ball. We'll do whatever's asked of us, and it's just come our way the last couple of games. Not saying that they weren't trying to get us the ball the first couple of games. It just is what it is. We're happy to block, happy to catch. It is part of the game.
Michael and then David.
One for each. For Cameron, when some of the guys started to get injured in the tight end room and one of the guys decided to redshirt, did that increase your sense of urgency at all? Like, hey, I gotta get on my stuff here. They're gonna need me.
Not really. Coming back from our little break and into camp, like everyone wants to start, everyone wants to play. So every day I've prepared like the starter, and it's always been a next man up mentality in our room. I think our room does a really good job, and our coaches do a good job of making sure everybody stays prepared because, like we said, like you said, one play and you're the man up. So everyone's got to stay ready.
And for Deshawn, did the result of Colorado's game on Saturday against Utah change your approach, mindset, preparation in any shape or form?
No, absolutely not. I mean, for us, it's us trying to get a dub every week. It don't matter who we play, who we go up against. You know what I'm saying? We're looking to do the same thing every week, which is win. So for us, I feel like, again, it's not us doing anything fancy, but again, just us relying on our technique fundamentals, executing the call that we're given, and just like, again, just falling back on just red line, man. Us just getting to the ball, running to the ball. Like I said, all 11 doing their job and just being physical. So.
David and Lindsay.
Deshawn, what is your specific role in the quarterback run game when the quarterback is on the run? What is your role there? Do you have a role there? And if you do, what have you been working on to try to improve your aspect of that?
Well, my role is just to make a play, for one, but also to, like you said, to just to also play within the system. And for me, it's not really just doing nothing fancy. Again, just playing within my technique fundamental, just, again, relying on my training. And, yeah, just being me playing ball. So.
And I know you've maybe been dealing with a little bit of an oblique situation. How has that affected your ability to do your job?
Man, when you got a DC like Coach G, man, that don't matter, man. Because at the end of the day, like, shit, excuse my language, but for us, it's just like, man, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be banged up, you're gonna be bruised up, but you know what I'm saying, you gotta be at bad effort, man, to play in a defense like this. So having somebody like that in my head 24/7, constantly chirping, telling me to get on the field and stop being soft, man, yeah, it don't even just, you know what I'm saying, sit in my mind. So for me, I'm good, man. I'm great. I'm amazing. So.
Lindsay and Justin.
You guys are entering the back half of your season. Obviously, every game is important, and I know you guys focus one game and 1 week at a time, but you're only 2 wins away from a bowl game. Is that something that you guys talk about, or anything that you're thinking of?
We go into every game looking to win, and obviously we want to get to a bowl game, but we're just focused on the next game. We're not worried about anything in the future, just Colorado right now.
Justin and Brian.
Cameron, you mentioned Panama has more cows than people. What did you do as far as hobbies, and what was just kind of the lifestyle for you there?
Growing up, sports was everything. From when I was young, I played soccer, and then football, track, and basketball in high school. I was just nonstop year-round. So over the summers, I just play basketball the entire time, get ready for football, and then football season would roll right into basketball and right into track.
When you entered the portal, were you under the impression that you were maybe going to play wide receiver somewhere else, or did the idea of maybe playing tight end kind of settle in? Like, when did that transition start for you?
I had lots of conversations because ultimately the end goal for everybody, I would think, playing college football is playing the NFL, and I don't think I was good enough receiver to do that, and tight end would be the most ideal spot. So moving forward, I kind of figured I'd play tight end.
And then how has Sam helped you along the way during this process?
Sam's one of my best friends. He's helped tremendously every day with little things. When I first got here, he helped a lot with just the small details of playing tight end. And then on days that, you know, I struggled, he's like, it's all right. You've been doing this for 5 practices. You're going to struggle. Like, he still struggles. We all struggle. No one's perfect. So he's been a very good friend and teammate.
Adjust. It's Brian and Michael and Justin.
So Cam, correct me if I'm wrong, this 3 years in a row, you were playing at D2, and then you were playing at FCS when Mercyhurst moved up, and now FBS. I mean, what has been the difference for you in terms of those, or do you just kind of look at it as it's all just football?
It's all just football. Go out there and do my best to do my 111th every play.
Did you feel like there was an adjustment going from D2 to FCS last year that took a little while for you?
Not as much. The PSAC is a very good conference, and I think they did a good job of getting us ready for the NEC.
Michael and Justin.
A couple for Cameron and then one for Deshawn. What events did you participate in track?
I refused to run. I was lazy in high school, so I just did high jump. My junior year, I won the state championship. Yeah.
And then when you were at Mercyhurst, were you a wide receiver or were you a tight end that just split out a lot? Like what?
Receiver.
You were a wide receiver.
Yep.
Okay, so
Ex
when you were,
receiver whole time.
so you're coming in and like maybe lining up in a 3-point stance or whatever. Was it kind of the first time you'd ever done that?
Yeah.
It was. Okay. And then for Deshawn, you guys had 2 very close losses, 2 games that you easily could have won against teams that have really good records, that are both ranked. A lot of fans are still upset about it. Some of us were like, well, this is a sign of progress. How did you guys view the outcomes of those games? Like encouraging, frustrating, maybe both?
I mean, for us, obviously, like not winning is frustrating. But again, we fall under this rule where it's a 24-hour rule, so we got 24 hours really to just process everything, and then literally once we process everything, go through film, do what we do, it's over with. We go on to the next, you know what I'm saying, next day, next game, next, you know what I'm saying, next week. So, for us, man, we really like, you know what I'm saying, I just feel like for us, again, it's just the little things, just us doing, you know what I'm saying, again, our 111, just executing, doing everything physical, you know what I'm saying, doing everything fast, doing it the way it's supposed to be done. So, I think, yeah.
We'll finish with Justin.
Deshawn, what led you to change your number to 0?
I don't know, man. Y'all you know what I'm saying, y'all might find this funny, but initially, like, I really didn't even want 99 when I first got here. I was trying to get 6, but my boy Tay Beasy got it. So, you know what I'm saying, we had to, you know what I'm saying, just play things cool, and then also my boy Flo, like, I was real cool with him. And I feel like for me too, it'd be pretty cool, you know what I'm saying, to actually, you know what I'm saying, with him being gone and him transferring, like, you know what I'm saying, getting a number and actually, you know what I'm saying, like, just doing some justice and then, like, really, you know what I'm saying, making plays and, you know what I'm saying. So it really isn't like a specific reason, just more so I just thought it was, you know what I'm saying, it was nice. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then, how would you summarize your time at Arizona?
I love it. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said back in the spring when I talked to you, man, it's a blessing. Like, again, I'm grateful to be in these shoes. I'm grateful to be able to live out a dream of mine and play on the highest, you know what I'm saying, highest level, highest stage, and being around like guys like Coach G, Coach B, you know what I'm saying, having guys like Coach Doege around too as well. Just every coach, to be honest, having those type of guys, you know what I'm saying, pushing you day in and day out, man, it can't get no better. And like I've been telling Coach G, any coach, I will literally run through a brick wall for them. Anything that they ask me, like, yeah, I'm doing with no hesitation. So, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. We'll start with questions for Coach Doege. Justin?
So you guys are playing against Colorado this week, obviously. What do you think about Deion Sanders? Have you had to meet him, and just what do you think about him as a coach?
I mean, obviously he's done tremendous work at Colorado. I think, I think in the coaching profession, he probably had a lot of doubters when he first took that job of guys that didn't think it was going to work, and obviously he's made it work. So respect to that. And, when you watch, obviously I haven't gotten a ton of information about it until now. Obviously now we're playing them and having 2 weeks to prepare. I mean, you're watching every single game they've had over the last 2 years, and they were really, really good last year. And then obviously they're talented this year. So whatever he's doing, it's working. And those kids play very, very fast. They play aggressive, and they challenge you every snap, at least defensively. So, I've never gotten to meet him. Growing up as a Texas kid, you were a Cowboys fan, so you knew about him. Everybody, I had a Deion Sanders jersey growing up, and I wore a bandana when we would play, just pick up football in the weight room. So I used to wear that jersey all the time, thinking I was pretty sweet.
Troy and David.
Just your thoughts on Noah against Houston, his progression, obviously a highly skilled passing game, just how he's gone week in and week out progressing in the offense.
Yeah, I think just get more comfortable. The relationship that we have to me is unmatched. I don't think that happens very often in college football, the quarterback to play caller relationship. And so I do think he trusts me, but I think he's just starting to trust the scheme more and more and more, and knowing that if he just follows, his reads, his footwork, his progression, it's gonna look like it did. I don't think it's always gonna be as efficient, just because you're gonna miss some throws as a quarterback. There's times where you're gonna miss the throws. Like, against Houston, the truth is he had a drop in a batted ball, or he goes to 100%. So that was just one of those special days, and I thought he played well enough for us to win. I told Danny, man, I just felt like that was one of those games. If we were gonna stop right there, and I was talking to Noah on the headset, because I knew if we did get a stop, we were gonna have somewhere between 50 and 55 seconds to go win the game. And there wasn't a doubt in my mind that we were going to win it, just because of the way he was playing. And so I was really, really proud of him. I do think he's just progressed through the offense. He's starting to trust it, the receiver, the timing. Everything's it's a process, and it's a new scheme. And as much as all of us, including myself, want it just to overnight happen, it just takes some time. And I think he's starting to really feel it and play well. So I'm excited to see, what he does this weekend.
David and Jason.
Seth, obviously, as well as the offense played in that game and Noah played, he came out after the game and said that he should have pulled the ball on 4th and 1 and ran it himself. Brent came out and said he thought that was the drive that swung the game. How are you teaching that? How are you teaching him to be comfortable in that zone read, when to give it, when to pull it, what he's supposed to be looking for, so that he can be better with that down the road?
Yeah, I'm not going to throw Noah under the bus. Because he's going to take responsibility, even though it wasn't his responsibility. There wasn't a read on that play. What he could have done is pull it to make it right. We got beat on the edge. We have somebody for that potential gap. It didn't work out. He didn't execute. What Noah wish he would have done is pulled it to make it right. But there was no technically read. He's got the very edge of the defense on that specific play, and all we're doing is running duo in a condensed set where you condense all the gaps down, and you just wash it down, and it winds back just like we've done really all season. Just the same play as the BYU run from Ked for a big play. And it was one of those plays, like if you look at Houston, Texas Tech converted on that play every time they ran it. There was somebody else that converted on that play every time they ran it. So in that sequencing, we're in 3rd and 5, I believe. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to make us throw it underneath, all right? And then they're going to pressure us in some pressure package. And my mind was like, okay, let's run it. Let's get to 4th and short. We got the perfect play because they haven't stopped it yet. We run that same play. Again, it was a misexecution on the edge. Noah could have pulled it, yes. But is he coached to pull that? I mean, he's assuming that everybody's doing their job. And, the quarterback and the leader that he is, he's going to come off and take ownership of I should have pulled that ball, probably, to make it right. But that's not your job either. So it's like one of those plays. And Noah's done a lot of good things and trying to make it. And he's made a lot of plays right. And that, unfortunately, that one, both of us we'll look back at it and say, man, yeah, pull it, bro. You see it. You see us screwed up. Pull the ball, make it right. But at the end of the day, he made a lot of plays in that game that we're not even in it without him making those plays. So it's kind of give or take. You know, you're asking this guy to be perfect, and that's just, it's an imperfect game. But I appreciate Noah standing up and taking full accountability on that play. Could I have made it right? Yes, he could have. But the read is not a zone read play.
Jason and then Michael.
Colorado has had some close games this year, and then they had what happened last week. As a coach, would you rather them have played a close game last week as opposed to what you saw in terms of maybe Deion being able to get their attention more and stuff like that?
I think if you put yourself in their shoes, which I've told our offense, if you put yourself in their shoes, how do you feel? And you're probably attacking this week with a little bit different edge than you did if you won that game. Because if you won that game, everybody's telling you how great you are, how you beat Utah at Utah. And then you're kind of feeling yourself. Then the edge may not be there. Well, it might be, I don't know. You know, it depends on the team that you have and the maturity that you have. But if I was assuming, you know, the way they play, at least on defense, that this is going to motivate them, and they're going to have a great week of practice, and they're going to attack it, and we're going to get their best shot, there's no question.
Michael and then Brian.
In that Houston game, Noah had his lowest average depth of target this season, also his lowest time to throw, and his highest completion percentage. Was that a product of game plan? Was that a product of taking what the defense was giving? Was it you guys being on the same wavelength, or maybe some combination of all of those?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of everything. They were giving us a lot of what we call, you know, bubble screens. We were getting in a certain set, and we could have thrown it. Every time I called it, there was a few times where he didn't throw it. I wish he would have thrown it, you know, and there was 2 more completions. They just didn't cover it. And so we called it about 6 times. And so those are 4 easy completions, but it's like behind the line of scrimmage, you know what I mean? But we're getting 8+ yards every time we throw it just because they're not matched up. And what we thought we did a great job of that helped is I thought we blocked on the perimeter extremely well. And that's just a byproduct of like how we practice. And honestly, I know Danny's sitting here, and I'm going to give him props, but we have a block it up drill that we do every Wednesday. And during that drill, Danny almost services me. Even though they're getting quality work of block destruction, he's like, what do you need? What do you need? And I'm telling him, okay, these are the screens that I'm trying to run this week. He's giving me those looks. So when we go into a game, we're spitting those little bubbles, and we're getting 8+ yards because we're dominating on the perimeter. And I think that obviously helps your completion percentage. I remember when I broke a record in New Mexico, I was like 40 or 44. Well, I threw a lot of bubbles and smoke screens and check downs. And so but that helps, man. I mean, that's part of obviously playing the quarterback position is seeing that and spitting it. And I thought he did a great job. And I thought I thought we blocked on the perimeter well. And then there was some quick game stuff. Like I told the offense this, like if you look at Houston and their breakdown, they don't give up explosive plays. There was minimum explosive plays, and that's the structure of that defense. I didn't want our guys to feel some type of way, so I didn't say it to the staff. I didn't say it to the kids. I said, we're going to go attack these dudes. But knowing in my mind, like we're going to have to put some drives together. And like you saw that we had to put like 13, 14 play drives together to go score. Well, that's strictly because of the structure of that defense wasn't going to let you get behind them. And there was a few times where I felt like we could have, that we had dialed up. You know, whether it be a pressure issue or, you know, a guy losing up front or, you know, no one not seeing it, whatever it is, I thought we could there was a couple chances we could have gotten behind them. Other than that, we were going to have to take the quick game, the check down, the stick routes, all that stuff just to move the football.
Brian and Justin.
With as much as Colorado has struggled defending the run, particularly this last game and all that, is there almost like a chess match where you're just assuming that they're going to put extra emphasis on trying to stop that, which then means you have to try to not focus too much on the run? Or is it a matter of when you see an opening like that, you need to take advantage of it?
You know, I think you got to watch. I think you got to throw the Utah game almost out just because they did. I mean, they had hats. They just didn't make tackles. They didn't execute. But there's other games where it's like, man, these guys are extremely aggressive. They're athletic. They're long and they're fast, and they're going to challenge you every play, and they're always going to have a +1 somewhere. So it's one of those things like, yeah, you can see it on paper, and you can see there's cut-ups where it's like, yeah, let's go attack these guys on the ground. But also there's times where it's like, man, they'll choke you out too, because they always got somebody around the ball. And so we got to be obviously strategic on how we attack it. I do think my philosophy of like, let's go do what we do well. And you go into a game with a plan. And as you go to attack that plan, what are you getting? And then you adjust off of that and try to score as many points as you can, So we'll have a good plan, and I'm sure they will too. They do what they do, and they do it well when they're playing at a high level. I think, again, like I want to say everybody's, I think the general public's probably grading them on one game. But before that game, they had BYU did the right. They beat Iowa State, and then both of those games were at home. And so I think they're a different team at home. I think anybody in this league is a little bit different at home. And so we're going to get their very best no matter, what the outcome was last week.
Justin and then Troy.
What was your assessment of Cameron Barour at the end of the spring, and how do you compare it to what he's been going through now? And do you feel like, there was a turning point for him?
That dude has made an unbelievable leap from when you're talking about the end of spring until now. I mean, even up until end of fall camp until now. Just because, and I don't know, actually I do know, you trust the process. And the process of developing a player, and you trust your coaches. Josh Miller is one of the best development type of coaches I've been around. That's why I brought him here. I knew he was good, and I knew he was going to get our guys right. And if you look at TP, the dramatic change he's made in TP's game, Sam Olsen's playing well, probably the best football he's ever played. And then Cam, we took him before I hired Miller, knowing that he was going to be a project. Well, the project kind of hit a wall, to be honest with you, just because the physicality part wasn't truly there. Like the athletic part, you've seen it. Like when the ball's in Cam's hands, he's actually a little bit different. And he's got really strong hands, and he's got a great catch radius. He's got great awareness of space too, obviously from playing receiver at Mercyhurst. But the one thing that he lacked up until like probably game 3, as we really started showing it, was the physicality part. And now you turn on the tape and you're like, whoa, who's that? Like, I don't know if y'all remember this, but we were trying to convert a first down late in the game against Oklahoma State, and we throw a little screen to him on the edge, and instead of running out of bounds, he lowers his shoulders and tries to run through somebody. Well, you didn't see that until now. And then this past game, where it was a pretty physical battle against Houston, that dude held his own, and he looked like he belonged. So I'm super, super proud of him. I mean, he just trusts the process. He trusts his coaching. He practices every freaking day as hard as he can. He gets coached hard every single day, and he just takes it and owns it and fixes it. I mean, this guy is just, he's what you want in a tight end and honestly in a teammate, and we're excited that he's here. I mean, there might have been a time where I'm like, I don't know if he'll ever play for us, but I'm sure glad he's here now. And I'm so glad, and I'm so proud of him on the strides that he's made to become really a player in my mind. Like he's somebody that you have to, that you got to account for, because he's long, he can move, he can catch, and now he's showing the ability to block somebody. Okay, he can be on the field.
Fair to say he's probably one of the most improved players on the offensive side of the ball.
No question. There's no question. He's one of the most improved players. And like I said, I think Coach Miller's done a great job. I feel like our offensive staff and Coach Brennan just believing in that kid. And I think there's times too, like when you bring a transfer in where you're just kind of like, man, I don't know if he can do it. Like there's a time where you're doing evaluations and you're just like, do we need to go get somebody else? And, I think we did. And the kid stuck through it. And he might be one of our better players because of it, by the end of the year. So I'm excited about him. I want to see his progress continue, obviously. But he's definitely been a value these last few games.
Troy and David.
Coming off of this bye week, how important was it to have that week, especially for the offensive line, kind of to get healthy again? I know guys have been playing, but just to have that break in between the two games.
Yeah, I mean, I think up until this point, we've played extremely hard, and I think you've heard all of the coaches and anybody that's gotten up in front of you say, our kids play extremely hard, And they have, and that's not PR. That's the truth. That's facts. If you go watch the tape, there's a lot of things you can say, but one thing you can't say is these kids don't play freaking hard, and they do. They play really hard. So I think this was a right time for our guys to go through a bye week. Now we went through the bye week and we attacked it, but we also took care of them. You know what I mean, and cut down a little bit on practice and how many times we were banging. But now we're going to ramp it back up, right? But I do think, to your point, it was big to get those big guys some rest. I think it was big for our receivers to rest their legs and get back to being fast again. And I think it was good for our coaches, to take a little time, and get back to, what we do and self-scout and do some fundamental work and get back to who we are. I think sometimes too, like when you're trying to win games, you're always searching for an answer, and sometimes the answer is do what you do, trust your system, trust your process, and so I thought it was good for everybody in the building.
David and then Michael.
Seth, Coach Brennan described the fourth down decision-making process that you guys have kind of as a think tank between you and him and Danny. What's your role in that as you're trying to figure out what you want to do on fourth downs? And in that particular game against Houston, it looked like you ran very similar plays in a lot of those fourth and shorts.
Yep.
Is your preference to try to run the ball?
Yeah, so I have a, just like any situation, I game plan that situation. So I have a handful of calls that I want to get to: 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and 5, 4th, and some of them can carry over. Like if you get to 4th and 2 to 4th and 3, okay, this is my call, right? So the whole sequence is that is like, okay, we're talking, maybe it's 3rd and, like I said, it's 3rd and 5, and I get, hey, you got 2 downs here. Well, that's going to change my thinking. I'm not going to go to my 3rd and 5 pass. I may go to my run, all right, because I know they're going to play some type of bracket coverage, 2 high safeties, and I know I could probably either split it or get close. If I get close, I have my 4th and short call ready to go, right? And then if you get stuffed, okay, you're just punting it at that point, right? But to your point in the Houston game, I had a few different calls ready. But after that, that 4th and 1 and all the other 4th downs, I felt like they were 4th and short. So to put the ball in the air, is that the best way to convert that? I'm sure. But there was a couple times where they were playing like trap, or getting the ball on the edge. The one time they called a timeout, we had a pass call, and we were going to go right into their trap corner. So I'm glad they called the timeout, right? Because I didn't. From the breakdown, they didn't show that, right? And so they weren't going to let me just do something on the edge that was easy, right? They were going to make everything come back inside. And so I felt like the best way to do it was basically run the same play, all right? But after the one that we got stuffed on, I said, okay, I'm going to protect the edge by motioning a tight end and cut him back across, right? So that way we don't have, well, he stepped wide when he should have stepped down. No. I'll just protect the edge with the tight end cutting back across. Now, the problem with that sometimes is you're leaving it on a +1, you're leaving it on a +1 player, and he's going to be sitting in the hole. Okay, my thought to that is Ked versus them for 1.5 a yard. I'm going to bet on Ked. And in those situations, when you do run the ball in those big sets, they're going to have everybody in there, right? So you got to be able to, there's got to be a mentality to it. As long as I can get him squared up on somebody, I know he's going to run him over, and I feel very good about that. And then, like I said, it's week by week. It's week by week on what, design we want to get to, and it's kind of by, obviously yardage on how I feel comfortable running those plays. I felt very comfortable running kind of the same type of design, just because, again, it seemed like every 4th down was 4th and short, 4th and 1 or 4th and half a yard. Guys, we got to be able to run it and get a yard. Besides trying to throw an incompletion or putting it on the edge and get tackled for -2, just go right down the middle and put the ball in Ked's hands and let him go do what he does.
Is he your best short yardage guy?
I think so, just because of the weight he carries behind his pads. I think all of them are physical, but Ked just has a little bit more, he carries just a little bit more weight and power when he's coming straight downhill at you. And I don't think he's ever going to get hit and pushed back. I think the one that, we got hit on, it became, if we do the job right, it came from the side. So you get hit behind the line of scrimmage on the side. Yeah, there wasn't a ton of movement, but if we cut that off, we're not getting hit to the side. Ked's gonna find a seam, and he's gonna find a yard, right? And so that's I feel very comfortable putting the ball in his hands, and like I said, it just comes down to the situation, and then obviously it's game plan to see what they've done, if they have done anything on 4th and short or 3rd and short, or even on the goal line, like what are they getting to, and what's the best way to scheme that up, as well as like what do we do well too, right? I don't want to put a magic play in there that we've never repped, but one or two times through the week. Next thing you know, you're trying to go execute at a big-time moment that doesn't give you the best opportunity to convert, which I felt like we've done a great job so far. I think there's a handful of times, like on 4th down, that we didn't get it, but for the most part, us going on 4th down has been an advantage for us all year. It's just that one time that it was a big-time moment we didn't execute. So we'll get that fixed.
We'll finish up with Michael and Lindsay.
You're in this situation where you guys have lost 2 really close games against really good teams. There's kind of 2 ways you can look at it, right? You're frustrated that you lost, but maybe you're encouraged because you're like on the brink. What is your sense of just how the team has responded to that state of affairs?
I'm super proud of these kids. I think we have great kids. The team vibe is extremely high. I think you've heard Coach Brennan. We talk about it all the time. Our kids are pissed. They're frustrated, but at the same time, they've stayed together and they're responding. They're responding the right way, and I think that has everything to do with like the way we've built this building over the time that I've been here at least. That there's a red line standard that we're preaching every single day. We're blocking out the noise, whether it be external or internal, and we're just going and attacking every single day like it should. And these kids are. I mean, we got a good team. There's no doubt. You don't play BYU to 2 OTs, and you don't play Houston to the final play of the game if you don't have a good team, right? Like you've seen it. You've seen people play BYU that are considered like front runners for the Big 12 championship. You've seen Houston play teams that are front runners for the Big 12 championship, and they either beat them handedly, or it was tight. And I think in this league, and I've talked to Coach Brennan about this, and we've said it to the team, is in this league it's any given Saturday. I mean, you can have great prep, which is needed because that gives you an advantage. But whoever shows up with the most discipline and details on Saturday wins that game. And because there's a lot of good football being played in this league, and nobody's really bad. And so, and everybody. There's obviously some teams up in the top of the league that have extreme talent, and then there's everybody else that's just, man, if you can get going and you create some momentum, it's gonna be a long night. So I'm excited where we're at. There is no moral victories. Danny G's said that multiple times, but we are encouraged by the play that we have, and if we can find a way to finish those tight games. I mean, we're 2 plays away from being 6-1. I mean, that's pretty. Again, I don't want to take that as like we're not 6-1. We're not 6-1 at all. But also I'm encouraged by the fact that we're close, and I'm encouraged by the fact that our kids are fighting daily and grinding daily and working, intentionally daily to make it all right, as well as our coaches. So I'm excited to where we're going. I'm excited the path we're on, and I'm really excited to watch our kids play this weekend.
Lindsay?
You kind of just mentioned it. You guys are close to maybe making a bowl game. Last year, just missed it. When you took the job, was that a goal that you had for this team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I took the job. My goal is to win every single game, and it still is. I'm just as competitive as Danny. I'm just as competitive as Coach Brennan. I'm just as competitive as Noah, and I take it really personal, and I take a lot of pride in my work. But I also feel like it's my responsibility, and I know it's my responsibility as offensive coordinator to put these kids in a position to where they can go they can go win every single night they play. And so, just like you said, like when I took the job, my goal was to go win a Big 12 championship, right? And I'm not saying that we're out on that, right? There's a lot of things that could happen. We got to go attack each every week, but yeah, I would love to be in a bowl game with these kids. I think they deserve it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, appreciate it.
Get to it. Don't worry. The DG sucks and can't stop quarterback power will be addressed. Promise. Like, it haunts me. So, like, all those things. But double down. Just want to talk, like, if whoever's watching right now, go back and watch the Deshawn Mcnite and Cam Barour. And I think there's something to be said about, I mean, I preach it all the time, continuity and development, and how with all the craziness of college football and stuff that's going on right now, and the statement I said last week, like we're going to rephrase this is Arizona football. Like it's still, this is Arizona football because crap's going to go bad. Like we're going to solve that. And I think Cam Barour is a perfect example. Tyler Powell is a perfect example of that. And I think you have to give Josh Miller, who Coach Doege talked about, a ton of credit because, in my opinion, those two are the most improved football players on our team since the spring. Like, I thought Tyler Powell was turning into a complete freaking badass, like, awesome. And unfortunately, the very first play of the season, he gets hurt. And everybody kind of had pushed Cam Barour to the side. And what Miller has been able to get out of those guys, I mean, Cam Barour is a badass. He's freaking awesome. I mean, I'm super proud of that kid. And I don't interact with him every single day. I mean, I interact with him when we go against each other in our service periods and those things. But that development in that room has been phenomenal. What Coach Oglesby has done with a bunch of no-name guys that nobody thought was going to be worth a darn. I mean, the continuity and the building of that during the spring, phenomenal. What Coach Salavea has done, what Coach Brangel has done. The receivers, I mean, all we talked about was the drops and all that stuff. And now Noah's 24, 26. Well, those guys are catching the ball too. Getting the right pieces in the right spot, what Coach Wade has done. I mean, all of the development, I'm leaving out coaches not intentionally or not unintentionally, just talking about the development piece and what our model has been, recruiting 18 to 20 freshmen and building relationships to keep those guys here to be able to compete on the long term. And like being close, like absolutely sucks. It's like awful. Like, I mean, there's nothing worse in this world than losing when you compete at something. And Deion Sanders is as competitive and elite athlete in everything that he's done. I mean, probably the best corner to ever play the game. And I know Mike Haynes was unbelievable. Rex's dad, with his long levers. And Deion played baseball. Now, Bo Jackson might be the best athlete ever, like because he was gigantic and just as fast. But Deion's right there with him. And so the reason I bring that up, the competitive nature of what he will get his team to respond. And you heard him in the back. I mean, the blueprint and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff doesn't mean anything. And I think you can take the Utah game, and that's an anomaly. I think Coach Doege talked about it. Coach Brennan talked about it. Like at home, they're a completely different monster. They beat Iowa State 2 weeks before they played the Utah game. Things went sideways early, and they'll have a response, and it's going to be a heck of a fight early. Okay, now getting back to Houston, and I think the quarterback runs has been the biggest talk for the last 2 weeks because of what Bear Bachmeier was able to do, and then Connor Wigman. And if you want to be elite, you have to do things elite all the time. You have to be detailed in everything. You have to choose violence in everything you do. And I thought the last 2 weeks, the quarterback runs, yeah, they're glaring. Third down is more haunting than the quarterback runs, because some of those quarterback runs don't happen if we're more detailed on third down. They were 8 of 14 on Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago at Houston, and I think that's the difference in the game. Seth Doege said we're close to being 6-1. We're probably 2 defensive stops from being 6-1. And I agree. Noah gets that ball back with 1:50 when we have him 3rd and 2. If we get him a stop instead of them getting 3 yards and then running out the clock, we probably win the game. So you want to be elite and be a top 10 defense, those are the moments you have to step up. I mean, the third, and it's frustrating when it comes down to details or numbers or them out executing us because the first 3rd and 3, we've got a great call against the quarterback power. We make a mistake. They execute, they get 4 yards, and they extend it. We have them backed up. Well, a little bit later on that drive alone is an 11-yard quarterback run on quarterback power. The second of the 8 that they got, the next 3rd and 3, give Coach Sagal credit because I thought they were going to run a mesh. They had hit us on it earlier. They come back with quarterback power, so they did outnumber us on that. That was the only time that they outnumbered us, which really sucks. The 3rd and 4, we jump out late on an out route. They complete it right over our hands, and that keeps the drive going on the 3rd and 4, the third down they execute. That was on the last minute 30 drive of the first half, where the very first run we missed the tackle in the hole, and Connor Wigman pops his longest run of the day for 28 yards, which got them rolling on the 1-minute drive after. And you guys talked about it. You asked the question on 4th down, like, what's the conversation in the headset? That conversation, and I'm like the little freaking wildcat, whatever, Wilbur on Brennan's shoulder, like saying, go for it all the time. Because I'm ultra aggressive, and I have all the confidence in the world that we're going to go out there and stop them if we don't get it. Like that 4th down that he told Noah to go for it, and then they go down and they score with 1:30, like that's 100% on me. Because I'm telling him right now, like, tell him like on 2nd down, tell him he's got 3 downs. Like, let him know right now, because it changes the dramatic play calling opportunities for an offensive coordinator. It changes the mindset of the defensive coordinator if you're not sure if they're going to go for it on 4th down. So now, are there times that I won't be a go for it on 4th down guy? Occasionally. And I don't believe in following the book of analytics because I think there's too much feel in the game. Now, we have those things, and I think every Division I football team, there might be 3 that don't have that book. And what that book is, so that everybody understands, it's historical data from all the way back to 2009 that gives you every 4th down situation that's happened in those moments by distance, by field position, and the stats over the 25 years that they've gathered says, well, 60% of the time that they've gone for it right here on this 4th and 3 situation, it's been converted. So you should probably go for it by statistics. Well, if you're playing somebody that doesn't give up 4th and 3s, or we've been unbelievable on 3rd and 1. So yeah, use that statistical pick against us on 3rd and 1. We hit Houston in the background on 3rd and 1, became 4th and 3. They executed the 4th and 3. So I think that's a dramatic piece, and I think Coach B does a great job with that, gathering the information of what the statistics say, and then using your opponent in that moment. Okay. So now we've gone through the first 3 downs, the first 3rd downs that I thought were the difference in the game. It's 3-3-4. The 3rd and 1, the next 3rd and 1. They broke a tackle, and 3rd and 1 is a huge offensive emphasis. Now you go to the 3rd and 8 is the first 3rd down, the 3rd play of the second half that they review. It is what it is, okay? And then we get an opportunity to have them on another 3rd and 8. We get a penalty on our sideline. Those things, they can't change the momentum like we allowed it to, okay? The next 3rd and 1, we have them in. We put our big personnel in. And they run a shovel pass, and they get 1.5 yard. That thing should have been stoned. And we bit on a flip. And then the 3rd and 2 down on the goal line, that thing should be sacked, and Connor makes a hell of a play. But the most disappointing was the 3rd and 2 with 1:50 left in the game after timeout. And knew what the play was. Hell, the entire Wildcat Nation knew what the play was. I think Coach Shear probably called it on Twitter, like, here comes quarterback power. And we slant into it, and we're making an assignment there. We don't pinch inside the tight end, so that the tight end and the wing don't gather too. The wing's able to come out and block our linebacker, and they get 3 yards or 2.5 yards, and now they're able to run out the clock. Like, if we stop them right there on 3rd and 2, we're going to win that football game because they ain't stopping no. It's 24-26, and one was a drop and one was a batted pass. Like, they ain't stopping them. But give Connor Wigman credit and give Bear Bachmeyer credit because those guys are good football players that have made plays in those moments. Caden Salter, who we're going to play this week, phenomenal athlete. I think he's very similar to Avery Johnson at Kansas State, who's on a roll right now, by the way. I think he's fast as hell, and they will do some things They have not been a huge quarterback power team. Why would you not put quarterback power in from what you've seen in the last 2 weeks, right? I mean, Coach Shear talked about it on Shear and Ali in the morning radio show. I listen to that stuff on the morning when I come into work on Mondays. Great show, by the way. You guys do a fantastic job. I think our media does a fantastic job. You guys do. Because you keep the Tucson community involved in everything that's walking. And, like, they are gutted and drenched right now. And like, we're going to get that statement, this is Arizona football, to be something so powerful. And we got an opportunity in the next 5 weeks to continue to change that narrative. We're going to. We have, I have all the belief in our football team. We could win all 5. Everybody in Wildcat Nation, there's going to be plenty of honest words to say, well, guess what? You can lose all 5. And they ain't wrong. I think our kids we have the right mindset of kid, because I've been around some that have not, and going into it that it's going to be a long day. I think we're still 17th in the country in total defense. People can't throw the ball against us effectively. They've had a few here and there. I mean, we're second in the country in pass efficiency defense, which is because we can get pressure with a 4-man rush, which we haven't had in the past. They're still not having time. Now, the sack numbers have gone down the last 2 weeks because that ball's getting out quick. And if they don't get it out quick, our coverage is going to be really, really tight. We've shown that all year. And then it comes down to 50-50 balls. If we can make plays on 50-50 balls, which we've done other than Iowa State, well, now you've got problems. So we've given up going into the BYU, which really breaks my heart because I take a lot of pride in, like, rush defense. And so, like, this last 2 weeks has been just gut-wrenching to me, which I can promise you, Wildcat Nation, over the last 2 weeks, like, you go ahead and watch my sleep thing on my Apple Watch. It's like sucks because I sit there and figure out, okay, different ways and watch every freaking FBS team in the country and watch everybody that's faced Lamar Jackson, like, what are different ideas? So we'll have a plan this weekend, I promise you that. The fact that we didn't execute them the last 2 weeks, I mean, players win games, coaches don't. And that's on me. We're 2 drives away from being 6-1. But we'll be solved because we're going to be a top 10 defense by the end of the season. We're 17. And if we're top 10 defense by the end of the season, Wildcat Nation is going to be really excited with the direction and how the outcomes have come. So go ahead, give it to me.
Thank you, Coach. Justin and then Michael.
I mean, you kind of already answered it a little bit, but I was going to say, like, what do you expect in regards to the quarterback run and how that is, I mean, just different, and how do you think, that'll be, I guess, a challenge for your defense, considering it's different than what you faced the last 2 games? I would put in quarterback power if I was Pat Shermer. See if they can execute it and see if they can outblock us. See if Caden will hit it up in there. I think Caden's I went back and watched all his Liberty stuff over the last couple of years because Jamie Chadwell did a great job, and then Hugh Freeze did a great job with him and what they were able to do, and the different looks and different things that they can go to with him and what he's able to execute. And then if Staub plays, you've got some different problems there because he's freaking came in the second half, and you saw a spark. They did some different things with him. So I think the challenge of which one's it going to be, and then are we going to choose violence or are we not going to choose violence? Because they're bigger than Iowa State up front. They're gigantic. They're 2 tackles. 6'7", 350. They're athletic. They're big. So, Coach Sanders has done a great job recruiting talent. So I think they'll be a very competitive bunch by nature because of his personality and Warren Sapp's personality and everybody that's on that staff. They'll come out and fight, and they'll have a plan. So go back and watch. Like, I'm a big boxing guy. Okay, Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward series. Like, those guys fought for no money, but those are like the greatest fights ever. They just beat the crap out of each other for 30 rounds. Like, that's freaking awesome. So let's do that Saturday in Boulder.
Michael and Troy.
Utah blitzed Colorado a lot in that game, and Deion was saying, even in post-game presser, like, they're still blitzing us even as I speak. So it seemed logical that, like, you should blitz as well, but I'm guessing it's not that simple, right? You can't just be like, oh, because it worked for them, we're just going to do the exact same thing, because they'll try to counter it.
For sure. I think Deion said it in the post-game stuff, like, you gave him the blueprint. Well, yes and no. The things that Utah did that were successful, Utah chose violence, and Colorado didn't respond right away. And it was 40-0 before you blinked your eyes. And Now you get up to the point of now you're just challenging them as people. Like, are you competitive or not? And I thought they came out and fought their ass off in the second half. I mean, that they had outscored them at one point in the second half. So he's a competitive group, and he's been successful everywhere he's been. I mean, his statement, he hadn't been beaten like that since his mama. I mean, that's fantastic because he probably ain't wrong. I mean, look at all the success he's had. And when I was with Herm, I got an opportunity to meet Dion. And as a little kid, like, I was a huge Dion fan. Like Seth Doege walking around in the Dion jersey. Like, I want to see a picture of that. I'm going to ask Abby because that's freaking awesome with the bandana on. Yet, like, yes. Because Dion was, he was smart and he was an unbelievable football player. So that's the same personality that his teams carry.
Troy and David.
Just the challenges of not only playing Colorado, but playing in Boulder, high altitude, and in that type of environment and that atmosphere there.
I mean, the atmosphere will be outstanding because they're right on top of you. I'm a little disappointed that they went to turf and not grass. I mean, I love natural grass, but they have turf now for the first time since, like, I think 1998. Altitude. So I was born and raised in Albuquerque. I have an opinion on that. There's a great Jerry Tarkarian story, way back in the day. Altitude, when you're getting your tail whooped, like, is a big deal. When you're not getting your tail whooped, like, nobody knows about it. Like, when you're getting your ass kicked, you're over there on that side and you see guys with oxygen and stuff like that. And when you're getting after them, like, nobody thinks about it. Back in the day, UNLV, like, the football players came back from Wyoming. And Wyoming's 7,200 feet, so that's a little bit different monster than the mile high that Boulder and Albuquerque are, which still doesn't really make a significant difference. But they came back and they're like, Coach, like, the football players were, like, complaining about the altitude and all that stuff and how hard it was to breathe. And Coach Tarkanian was like, well, they play outside. We're inside. Don't worry about it. That stuff doesn't matter. So, genius. And UNLV went up there and smacked Wyoming, so you're probably right. But I don't play into that. So they'll have the thing that they'll have a solar crowd. It'll be a great atmosphere, and the one that punches in the face the hardest, the fastest, is going to be the one that sustains success.
David and Justin.
Coach, I know a couple weeks ago you talked about how the safeties play into the run game, but there seems like there's a lot of instances where when that ball carrier hits the line of scrimmage, your second level is almost 5 yards away. How do you rectify that when you've got a running back who, if he hits the line and he's not going to have contact for 5 yards, he's going to get 5 to 8 every single time?
I wish we had more time. I would love to sit down with you, David, and we can watch an entire game, and I can show you how full of crap you are. I mean, and that's not being mean. It appears that way at times, and that's how we want it to appear. When you see running backs cutting, and I wasn't being disrespectful to you. Let's have fun. When a guy cuts in the backfield, we're winning. When they're 5 yards downfield, like you said, making cuts, where there were a couple times on that Saturday, we're not. And so the different things that we do up front make it really hard for a running back to see where the hole's going to be and how they're going to cut. Now, we depending on which one, whether it's Dalton, Jen, in the Houston game, our middle linebacker was a true linebacker, probably 85% of the time. They weren't down in there because of some of the different things we were doing with the three-man front. So the biggest answer to your question is the best success we have is when the running backs are cutting in the backfield because of the different things we're doing up front. We want it to appear like they've got that window, and then all of a sudden that window's gone because a D lineman's coming down that window, because a linebacker's stunting through that window, or at times a safety is stunting through that window, and then the bear shows up. He is going to be, you said 5, most of the time he's at 7, and if they read it right with the direction of it, we expect those guys to make tackles for 1 and 2 yard gains. And the majority of, like, if you go through the self-scout stuff, 2nd and 7 is really easy to call defenses. 2nd and 6 to 2nd and 5 becomes really difficult. And so to your point, and yes, 5 yards, 2nd and 5 sucks. We have had a great, we're 15th in the country on first down defense because we don't give up a ton. We're like 4th on 2nd and long, because we've been able to, 1, either make incomplete passes because our secondary is so efficient, or 2, we've been good on first down run. We had been really good on 3rd down until BYU. And then the last 2 weeks, we haven't been. We haven't been good enough. I think we're 30%, which is good for like 30th in the country. We were 10th. We need to get back to being that. And the only way that happens, to your credit, is the safeties can't be making tackles at 5 yards. They got to make them at 2 to 3 yards. But we want it to appear like that because when you're identifying whether the middle linebacker is going to be a linebacker or a safety dropping in, that makes it really hard schematically for the offense. And then Jen and Dalton have to make those tackles for 2-yard gains. If they don't, it's really hard to call defense.
And real quick, just when that first touchdown run by Wegman, it looked like they literally had everybody blocked on that play. How did you see that? And are there plays like that where you just say, we got to tip your cap because they blocked this particular defense really well?
You're talking about the 10-yard run, quarterback power to the right, down in the red zone before halftime. I mean, they're just second touchdown. Dalton comes up. He's got a good fit. He fits it where he's supposed to. The linebacker coming through the middle. He takes an inside alley as opposed to outside where he's spilling it to guy because the guy he spilled it to came over the top. He gets them blocked by Tay's guy because the first linebacker didn't mill it the wrong way. That's very seldom are we in a run fit like that. And then we have that should have been a 3-yard gain, not a touchdown. So we have one guy get blocked by taking the wrong block on, and then we have a DB miss a tackle in space. So does it look like everyone's blocked? We had 2 unblocked. You got to make plays when you have 2 unblocked. One blocked ourselves, and the other one's got to make a play.
Justin and Jason?
Why do you think Deshawn Mcnite has thrived in his role this season?
Because he's super powerful and he's super twitchy, and he's bought into Coach Joe and Coach Palmer and what we do schematically. He's 298 pounds. At UT Martin, and I think I take great pride in evaluation skills. Like, I think the greatest of coaches are great evaluators. Because if players aren't good enough, you're not going to win. Deshawn Mcnite was a 4-eye at UT Martin. He held a gap. He stayed in there. He was a big body, not a lot of movement, not a lot of what we do schematically. But you could see instances on tape of how powerful he was. And against UT Martin, they played Kansas State last year, and he was dominant in that game. And so those are the people we're going to play against. And he was dominant, and you could see some twitch in his step. So now I'm like licking my chops because I'm like, okay, we've identified one that can play. And relationship becomes a big piece, and it's really hard on the speed dating piece to the transfer portal. Because I went heavy on Deshawn Mcnite for 3 days, talking to his dad, Travis, talking to mom, talking to Jalasia, his girlfriend, fiance. And then he gets on the plane and he comes here, and Oklahoma's telling him, like, cancel that trip and come over here. I'm like, okay, they found one too. And we did a great job with the relationship over the weekend. He committed and he stayed, and he's flourished from here. And he's powerful and twitchy enough to have a chance to get into a camp at that level. And if he has the right mindset, he's talented enough because he's so powerful and twitchy. And he's bottom of the weight room. I mean, he's a 360-pound power cleaner. He's a freak in there. And then his relationship skills, he's a people person. I mean, you saw him. He went through and shook everybody's hand. I mean, he's going to be a successful human being because of what mom and dad and the upbringing he's had, and then how we've been able to develop him football-wise in this program.
Jason and Michael?
Are you preparing for 2 different quarterbacks, and if so, how would that maybe change preparation or approach?
Yes, because I don't know. I mean, they might both play. He might stick with one. Luckily, not significant difference in what they do schematically. Obviously, Caden Salters I think he's really fast, linearly, and will try and outrun you and can get to the edge and do some of those things with the zone read keep and all those. They ran a little bit of quarterback power early. Staub, the ball gets out of his hand really quick, really precise thrower, but he can run and get you with his feet. So they don't call significantly different plays, which is a positive, but their demeanor and the way the kids react around them. So you do have to prepare for both. Like I said, you got to throw the Utah game out like we haven't done. It's not even in our breakdowns. I've watched it 100 times because I think Morgan Scalley's really good and he's a friend of mine. That I think they do some unique things that you can copycat and steal because we're all copycat and thieves. But we'll have an answer for their. We'll be ready for their quarterback. I mean, we look BFF. We blitz like 90% of the time. So I mean, if we blitz them, it's not a surprise. I mean, it shouldn't be anything off guard.
Finish up with Michael and then Troy.
Two questions. First one of the things I heard a lot on social media from fans during the Houston game especially was, why don't you just put more defensive linemen on the field if you know that teams are going to be running these power schemes?
Really good question and observation. I mean, there was times, and I don't know, I mean, you can go through PFF, like, and you can, any Wildcat fan can pay for PFF, which is awesome, give them more money. Maybe I'll start a deal that you can give me the money, and then we can put that into our NIL and revenue share, and I'll tell you the exact same information. The idea, like some of those things, I mean, I saw my wife ask me the question too, because she listens to you guys on Twitter and all those good things. Why are you trying to stop this with a three-man front? Well, in our three-man front, the stuff that we were doing against quarterback power, they weren't having success. It was a pop here or there in some of the other stuff on third down or on those third that we talk about. We had 5 D linemen in there at times. We had 4 D linemen in there at times throughout the game. We had 3 D linemen in there at times. Chase and Riley are as effective up front in the box as Dom, Mays, and those guys with some of the things that we do. When it looked like we had 3 D linemen lined up in the one over the center and then the 2 A gaps, we're actually blitzing 4 other guys. So we're sending 7-man pressure, which is probably more effective than a 50-man front in some of the things we do. Now, we've switched up all year long with the different fronts we're doing. The one that gutted me on the 8th series, the last drive, you got to choose violence and execute, because we should have got off the field twice, and that's on me. Go ahead. We're good, Brett.
Genesis Smith, according to your favorite website, PFF, is tied for the team lead in missed tackles, and most of those have been in recent games. What have you observed about angles that he's taking or aggressiveness that he's showing or not showing?
They've been significant in the last 3 games, and Jen is harder on himself than anybody. And so I think you'll see a different monster on Saturday. And the coaching aspect of that, if you look at our cumulative stats, he's our leading tackler. He's left a bunch out there that are the difference between getting off the field, not getting off the field, winning and losing, and enhancing his opportunity to be a high pick. I mean, the Mel Kiper list came out. He was the 8th best safety. He's better than that, but he's got to prove it. And so he's got 5 weeks to prove it. I think you'll see a different monster on Saturday.
All right, I will finish up with Troy.
Over the last 2 games, obviously everybody's talking about the rush defense, but pass rush, I think 1 sack in the last 2 games. I know the numbers wise, when somebody else is running, it's kind of hard to get back there, but what are you seeing from the pass rush? What has been going on there that's limited them in the last 2 games?
The quarterbacks have been elite getting the ball out of their hands. And like you said, I mean, when you're having success running it, you don't throw it as many times. You can't throw it and get the things that you want out of it. And we've had an elite pass rush with 4, which has been really awesome because you can do some really good things when you have 7 guys to do some coverage things with. Chase Kennedy, Deshawn, Tia, those guys have been getting in the backfield so fast, and then when we blitz, they're hitting home. They're just throwing the ball away before we can get to the quarterback. And there's some things that you can do zone blitz-wise that'll make the quarterback hold the ball a little bit. But I don't know if it's going to change the status of how many sacks. I mean, we're still, I think, 4th in the country in tackles for loss because of a big portion of that. I mean, the rush defense, and we will solve. If it's the last thing I do as the defensive coordinator, like them running that stupid frickin' play, like, yeah, bring it, Colorado. Bring quarterback power, and then we can talk about it after, because that's been the challenge. I mean, you've heard that more. Our kids have heard that more over the last 2 weeks than they probably want to. Like, you heard Deshawn up here, and he had that smirk when you asked him about me. Like, yeah, I don't sugarcoat, and well, the only thing, I mean, and it does good to sit up here and talk about it. You have to go out there and prove it and play it. So over the next 5 weeks, we're going to play some really good quarterbacks and you have to give credit, like even more credit to Coach Tataki and Coach Roderick, Coach Legel and Coach Fritz, because you have to be willing to run that guy and willing to get him beaten up and beat the crap out of him and take chances of getting him hurt, which can be very, I mean, if they lose Connor Weigman at Houston, they're a little bit different. And if they lose Bear Bachmeier, they're probably different. But those guys are tough suckers now. I have a great admiration for both of them because I thought we hit Connor early pretty good, and he didn't bat an eye. And then I saw ASU hit him early, and he didn't bat an eye. And so give that young man credit because when I was at New Mexico, we beat the crap out of him at Texas A&M. Like we hit him 5 or 6 times really good, and the sucker kept getting up. So I knew he was a tough guy. They didn't run quarterback power at A&M, so I didn't see him doing that. It was more scrambling and sitting back in the pocket. And I have great respect for him. He earned it. I mean, that's why they're 6-1 or 7-1, whatever. They're 7-1. Like, God dang, I hate losing. God dang. So we will win in this program. I think continuity is a huge deal. Buy in, Wildcat Nation. Buy in. Like, as frustrated and mad as you are, and as much as everybody wants to burn the village, I swear it's because they care and they have passion. And, like, when you capture the magic of a 10-win season, like in 23 or in 98 or in 93, like, it feels so freaking good around here. It's like the basketball team winning the national championship in 97. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, having a chance to beat Duke in the Sweet 16 last year, like, that magic and that feeling, like, we're going to capture it and make it where you can sustain it. And I think the way to sustain it in today's age is you have to take 18 to 20 freshmen, fill holes with the transfer portal, develop those 18 to 20 with guys that actually can develop, and then you have an opportunity in this league, because the league is the same, minus Texas Tech, who spent like $1 billion. And guess what? Houston had a chance to beat them if they don't turn the ball over 3 times. ASU beats them. Like, the parity in this league is unbelievable. It's awesome. And so if you develop those pieces, you can have sustained success with the continuity, if you have the right pieces and the right coaches. And now I'm arrogant. I believe in what I do and what we do on defense, and I believe in our staff. And I think Coach B has done a phenomenal job of putting those pieces together and being Coach B's going to win a bunch of games around here. And I mean, I freaking hate losing, so we'll solve it.
Thank you, everybody.
Bear down.